I never had my dad involved in my life. I grew up with a single mom. We always had, money struggles. It sucks when you watch all the other kids do all these other things that you can't do. My fear was that, I'm never going to be good enough. So I would use fear to instill this work ethic in myself that almost became like a drug. I didn't realize that that wasn't healthy until I got divorced. I was on the pathway of nothing mattered but success. In turn, you're burning up everything around you, but you can't even see it. And my brain would just say, keep going, because you're not gonna have money, you're not gonna have food, you're not gonna have a house, your business is gonna go under the next day. And my negative self-talk in my head, the things I used to tell myself was so bad, I would use that as motivation. And I did that for 10 years as such just a narcissistic way to myself. And finally, something so bad had to happen to be like, hold on, stop, because the pathway you're going on is gonna end up killing you. Fortunately, it takes something that really hurt you enough to be like, whoa. Over the last few years, it's like my whole life opened back up and I was able to see things, able to find the person that I really am outside of being an entrepreneur. I wanted the cars, I wanted the house, I wanted the status, and I would assume that 99% of entrepreneurs are all going to chase after that until they realize that there's way more to life than that.
100%.
You actually lose the most valuable thing. You lose your freedom of time, whether you want to admit it or not. When I was like that as an entrepreneur, I couldn't even take an hour off of work. You losing your mom, what does that do to your mental health?
Losing my parents, bro, was equally difficult. Losing my father.
All right, welcome back to the 1% podcast, where we dive into challenges and triumphs of high performance. With a focus on mental health and wellness, I'm Sean Freitas, your host. And today,
and seeing your journey over the years, man, from City Athletic Club to this fitness mecca. I mean, dude, just every time I come in here, man, I just really recall, man, your hard work, and you are an inspiration, man, to me and many. When I talk about you, just to be here with Sean it's definitely a privilege. Just knowing the work he's put in, seeing this guy work from 6 a.m. when he would do physical therapy on me, coming back 12 hours later, and he's still working, man. And I remember the turning point for me with you, Sean, was when you took some time off and you went to Africa, man. And I remember, man, this guy's gonna do great things, man. So again, dude, it's an honor to be here with you,
Thank
brother.
you so much.
Honor.
Thank you. Ray, let's start off with your story. How did you first get into the world of real estate investing, and what has that journey been like for you?
The journey, man, it's something I love to talk about, and it's something that connects me with my parents, Sean. I was 12 years old when my parents were selling their first home, and my parents were just working class, hyper performers as far as just working class parents, man, working 7 days a week. My mother was a woman who would go to work at 5 a.m, make us breakfast, come back home, help clean the house, make us dinner, and then go into the garage and sew clothes to sell in the neighborhood. She would make like little cool jumpsuits. So my mother was just a extreme worker, man. My father as well, he worked 7 days a week. His only days off were New Year's Day and Christmas Day. So he's working the evenings as well, Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. So they instilled an extreme hard work ethic in me, but I think the thing that they really taught me, the lesson that, they taught me, man, I went to a good university, school didn't teach me what they taught me, They bought real estate and they sold their first home. I remember being 12 years old and them just having a casual conversation saying, hey, we bought this house for $60,000, 10 years ago. And now we're turning around and selling it for like $190,000. So I'm like 12 years old, and that was like the only lesson they taught me about building wealth. And they weren't teaching it to me. They were just having a conversation. So that immediately instilled in me. And I took interest in real estate at a very young age. So sold that house. We moved up to the central. We moved up to the Central Valley, where I have some real estate. I have a real estate portfolio out there. Bought my dream home. We'll talk about that later. It's funny to say that, 'cause I don't like using cliches like dream, but it is my dream home. So I bought a house that I loved since I was 15 years old. So I hear them talk about that profit margin, and I took interest. So now it was my second time in a Mercedes-Benz. I'm 13 years old at this time. I just turned 13. And we're with a realtor, and we're shopping for our next home. This is the second house they bought. They weren't investors. They just they taught me the common sense to equity and building equity. So I'm 13 years old. We're buying our second home, and I'm in the back of this Mercedes-Benz, and my mom's like, you should be a realtor like Patricio Mena. I'll never forget this guy. And I like just instinctively said, yes, yes. I didn't get into real estate. I am a real estate investor, but I got into mortgage banking, which has allowed me to teach many people to like leverage in real estate like I have, man. For every dollar I've made in commissions over the years, I've made my clients collectively millions of dollars, man. So,
that's incredible.
So that is the true passion and love for this business, Sean. Number one, I get to do it the way I like to do it, man. My mortgage operation is ran out of a Mexican art gallery in downtown Las Vegas. In my 20s.
You call that the bread factory,
yeah,
right?
The bread
I
factory.
love that.
I like to say, it's at the Wholesome Bread Factory, a historical landmark in downtown Las Vegas. I bake bread for homeowners, man. And it is a bread factory. So I've been able to design a business on my terms. In my 20s, I hated mortgage because I'm like, man, I went to UCLA to do what somebody with a high school diploma can do or a high school dropout can do. All you got to do is pass this difficult license. But 30s, I said, hey, you know what? I can actually develop business relationships doing stuff that I like. Bisfit, you were part of that at City Athletic Club,
yes.
Where with Bisfit, I would bring business professionals to connect with business professionals in a fitness environment. You and Anthony led one for me at the City Athletic Club. And so I figured out a way, man, to say, hey, man, this business, it doesn't just have to be about the numbers and the metrics. Let me do this the way I want to do it. And when I figured that out, bro, I fell in love with the idea. You just shows you the whole essence of perception is reality, man. It's like how we choose to look at a situation. Okay, I could be a boring mortgage banker that's just trying to meet realtors and do loans and be the number one producer in the country and obsess over numbers. Or I could say, you know what, F that. I'm going to do a business on my terms. I'm not going to go to Summerlin and be next to Keller Williams. I'm going to go create a space where I could attract people to, create social spaces, and live my passions, man. Bringing people to taste tequila, bringing people to look at art, to celebrate Mexican independence, whatever holiday I could capitalize on, whatever celebration I could capitalize. I turned 40 and I had a party there with like 200 realtors, man, and spent like 20 grand, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful party. This is 6 years ago. And I was able to create a business where I became my own publicist. So now I'm not like really advertising myself as a mortgage banker. I'm creating these concept parties, Bisfit, tequila tastings, We Art Las Vegas. And I'm attracting people that by default give me business just because they like who I am. So I'm not really selling mortgages. I'm selling myself, and people meet me, and before you know, I'm doing business with realtors, getting clients referred to me by lawyer X, by architect X, and that's the way I built my business, man.
Yeah, I think that's incredible. And I think something that I've noticed with you is you really focus on like a client experience, which is something I really take to heart, here at Project Wellbeing is when you walk through the doors and you feel that culture and that community. And I feel that every time I see, you working at your facility, and what you've been able to do there is different than, you don't need chandeliers on the wall. I get a real sense of authenticity when I see your business, and I think that it attracts different people and kind of allows them to self-express themselves in a way that they can't when they're walking on the red carpet on that white marble floor and there's a chandelier in there. And correct. I think that brings a really unique set of clientele.
It really does. Like I said, I think a lot of people obsess with return on investment. For me, it's return on relationships, man. I know if I treat people well, the investment defaults. I make money just through relationships. So my whole business has been based and developed through return on relationships. Even being a member here at Project, that's why, Sean, I don't understand how you can be an entrepreneur that's making $250K plus a year and make the investment of coming to this gym. Just coming here alone, I've met through Michael, met his dad by chance by being a member here. Like I'm doing all Christopher Holmes tequila tasting events. We're supposed to have a big tequila tasting event there. Met amazing athletes. Had the opportunity to travel with Dan Ige to Oaxaca. We met in the sauna, man, and we were just talking. He's like, Oaxaca. He was interested in going there already. I'm like, dude, I'm already developing real estate out there. Took him and his wife, treated them as good as we could. I think they were very happy with the experience, and that's why I say it's return on relationships. To me, Project, though it's far for me to come out here every day, man, and especially when I first got my membership here, like I was here every day, man, because I was taking some time off from work.
Yes.
But now I'm back in work mode, so I'm out here at least 3 days a week, and it's just the best investment I can make for myself, man. For my business, mortgages, Oaxaca, even the tequila thing that I have going on, that's more of a passion business. The people I meet here have opened up phenomenal doors, man. I thank you for that, bro.
Yeah, that's something that I really wanted to not to take advantage of, but to create and foster relationships, within these doors. Is I think you'll meet, 90% of clients that come here are entrepreneurs, and they all do different things, and they're all different ages, which is incredible.
And I think they all have, disregarding the financial differences between one member and another. I think everybody has the same motive, man, to take advantage of your vision for individuals, man. How you give back to us, how having a sauna conveniently set up next to a shower where you could jump into a cold plunge, and it's priceless, man. I mean, this membership here is worth $10,000 a month, in my opinion, man. So
thank you.
And you guys should take advantage of it out there, man.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Ray, I think your success has been incredible, but I know it hasn't always been smooth sailing. The real estate industry is notoriously high pressure. How has that impacted your mental health over the years?
In the beginning of my journey, man, I was kind of bitter. I'm like, dude, I'm doing a job, and why am I not in law school? Why am I not a lawyer? Like, I went to UCLA. Why am I doing this job that anyone can do? So there was that stress, man. So the journey, brother, I guess it's just the cliches that we hear, and from all the self-help gurus, from Tony Robbins to Jordan Peterson, man. Just being grateful, man, of the opportunity, man, and the way I chose to look at a high pressure day, man. Like, I have had some crazy high pressure days
for sure,
where I'm funding. I'm making great money. It's a lucrative business, and there's days where I just want to rip the hair out of my head, and like everyone else. But I just go back to that moment of, hey, I'm helping people, and unfortunately some of these people don't understand the process of what's going on, and their insults or I've also learned to let people say, hey, man, it's just the money isn't worth it, and I dissolve a relationship, hey, and say go your. So I would tell you, Sean, that the big turning point in my life with this business was when I lost my father. It used to be about the money, working 7 days a week because he worked 7 days a week.
Yeah.
But I realized at that point, man, there was a specific person who tried to say, ever since you lost your father, you changed your business. And I said, you're absolutely right, because I lost my father. I don't know what your relationship was like with your father, but mine was irreplaceable. And he taught me that I didn't have to work 7 days a week like he did. He was working 7 days a week to pay our mortgage.
Yes.
I was working 7 days a week to drive BMWs, to travel to Europe, to buy watches, to go to fancy dinners, to wine and dine clients. That's what I was working for. So there was two different whys, and his why was just put food on the table for the family, pay the mortgage, check to check. My why was buy real estate, buy commercial buildings, set yourself up for retirement, along with giving myself lavish things, sports cars, and all that other stuff, man.
Yeah.
So big differences, man. So that was a turning point, brother. And that's how I've kept my peace and my sanity, is by just saying, I can tell people I don't need to do business with you. Once I got to that point in my career where I told the first person, we don't need to do business together because you think losing my father is an easy thing, that's when I liberated myself.
No, and I didn't lose my father, but I never had my dad involved in my life. I grew up with a single mom, and similar thing happened to me where we always had money struggles, and it sucks when you watch all the other kids do all these other things that you can't do, and so my fear was that, I'm never going to be good enough. So I would use fear to instill this work ethic in myself that almost became like a drug. It made me work 7 days a week.
I saw you work, man. I saw you work, bro.
And then I didn't realize that wasn't healthy until I got divorced, because I was on the pathway of nothing mattered but success, but in turn you're burning up everything around you, but you can't even see it. And my brain would just say, keep going, because you're not going to have money, you're not going to have food, you're not going to have a house, your business is going to go under the next day. And my negative self-talk in my head, which was so the things I used to tell myself was so bad, I would use that as motivation. And I did that for over 10 years as such just a narcissistic way to myself. And finally something so bad had to happen to be like, hold on, stop, because the pathway you're going on is going to end up killing you. And unfortunately it takes something to really hurt you enough to be like, whoa, you know. So over the last few years, it's like my whole life opened back up, and I was able to see things, able to find the person that I really am outside of being an entrepreneur. You know, like I would identify myself as like, oh, Sean works with this athlete and this athlete and this athlete, and like I was using that as my identity. So when I got a chance to kind of delineate that and actually be the person that I want to be, and I mean, I'm just discovering, you know, that right now, which is a beautiful thing. And I realize that there's plenty of business in the world. There's plenty of success in the world. And just like you, I was chasing the status. Like I wanted to be the best. That was going to lead me on the path of complete destruction. So I find myself being much more quiet these days, much more humble. And instead of needing to talk about myself, I want to share, you know, the community and the wellness journeys that we're putting people on with these experiences. But yeah, it took me to have something like that happen in my life to almost wake me up. And I was just like you. I wanted the cars, I wanted the house, I wanted the status. And I would assume that 99% of entrepreneurs are all going to chase after that until they realize that there's way more to life than that.
100%.
Yeah, because what happens as you're chasing all of that, you actually lose the most valuable thing. You lose your freedom of time, whether you want to admit it or not. When I was like that as an entrepreneur, I couldn't even take an hour off of work. And that was an actual trap. So even
let me touch on that really quick. So that's a conversation I had with my kid. You know, we set out. She's getting her lending license, and she wants to work with me, and which is an honor, man. I'm super happy.
That's incredible.
I'm super happy that we're at that point in our life because we're gonna do a lot of cool stuff together. But we had that conversation. So I was asking her like, "What are your expectations? How much do you want to work?" And she's like, "Well, I want to work 40 hours a week, like anybody else." That's what she said. So I go, "Well, let me tell you about me, and this is my goal. This is my financial goal in the next 18 months. I said, for me to reach my financial goal in the next 18 months, I'm willing to work Monday through Friday from 5:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. at night. I'm sorry, Monday through Thursday from 5:30 a.m. to 9 o'clock at night. Friday, I'm willing to work from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So now I'm kind of shutting it down. Saturday and Sunday, I'm willing to work 4 to 6 hours a day, depending on the day. But the most important thing is that I want to be able to take a day off whenever I want."
Yes.
And I said, I want to be able to take that hour off, the 4 hours off, the 5 hours off, the entire day or the entire week off whenever I want at any given time, and set up the systems to be able to do that. If an opportunity comes up in Mexico, hey, like there's this opportunity to buy this plot of land, or you know what, this guy's flying in from Europe for this tequila deal. You know, we're doing some pretty cool stuff with some European athletes. Some of the athletes here know these athletes as
awesome.
Well. It's I can't say it now, but fighting community and the deal we're putting together in Europe. If I get a call saying, "Hey, bro, they're flying in on Tuesday. Can you be here? Can you be here Tuesday?" I want to be able to be there Tuesday.
Yes.
So that's the most important thing for me. I'm willing to work 7 days a week, but the most important thing, bro, is that I can take the day off whenever I need to take it off. I can cancel whatever appointment I have to cancel to work on my other agendas, man. So.
Yeah. No, just to touch on that. It took me a long time to realize that as an entrepreneur, and this goes along with what you were saying, is you're gonna have a business 24/7. So it's like being okay with, if you take a vacation, maybe you got to work, you know, 1 hour out of the day, but then can enjoy the rest of your day, versus, you know, the mental stress of, oh shit, now I can't do anything in my business for 10 days. What's going to happen? And I found that to be even more stressful, to where I couldn't relax even if I was laying on a beach.
Wow.
And you know, that's really difficult. I couldn't tell you the last time I went on a vacation and actually was enjoying being on the vacation. I mean, I could have gone to, you know, private island that no one can get to, and I'm still felt that mental trap. So I haven't gone on a vacation yet, because I'm almost to that place mentally where I can actually enjoy something.
See, that's a funny topic. Vacation, that word gives me anxiety.
Yeah.
It gives me anxiety, and maybe I need to overcome that, because even when I travel, I don't like to think of it as a vacation. I say it's a lifestyle. As long as I have my phone, if I can take a business call, I'm going to. Of course, there's gonna be moments. I'm gonna be in an opera. I'm gonna be at a party, be in the theater with my kid. I'm not gonna take a call. I'm gonna put my phone in airplane mode. But I love the idea of being able to stay connected as an entrepreneur anywhere in the world, man.
Yes.
That's the most important thing to me. So maybe I need to like accept the idea of vacation. Because when somebody says like, you're going on vacation, I'm like, no, dude, I'm going to Mexico, man, and it's not a vacation. I have a house there. I created a life there. and I'm an entrepreneur, and that's what it means. Maybe I have to, like I do with my kid, like I'll say, hey, you know what, like I try to, we're gonna be at dinner, I'm gonna leave the phone in the car. No text, nothing. So I have time with her. I think she's probably the most sacred person I give time to, where I'll just put my phone away. But besides that, it could be a woman I'm dating, it can be a regular date. I don't care how I'm into the girl, I make business my priority, because I understand the emotional element of people needing questions answered immediately, and I try to, that's where my success thrives. But every time I hear even you saying vacation, bro, it gives me anxiety, man.
Yeah,
it's a weird thing, man.
No,
it's a lifestyle.
That
man.
I understand. It is a lifestyle, but it took me a while to understand that as I wanted to be available for everyone like you, what wasn't happening is I wasn't being available for myself.
Right.
And that's where a lot of not great things in my life had happened, because I wasn't realizing that I'm not taking care of myself at all. Like, it wasn't about going to the gym or going to work out or making money. It was like I literally was putting myself last in every place.
Yeah, I've noticed you're going to church, and that's kind of stuff I'm trying to do as well. My kid goes to church, and I want to go there.
I had to get selfish with myself. I'm like, I can't actually fully care about someone else. Like, I still think business is the most important thing in my life, but that doesn't mean that I can't make someone else or something else just as important, if not more. But in my mind, it knows that business is the most important, but you have to have balance, Sean. You can't do what you did before. And that's a new concept for me that I'm really trying to work through on what that is.
And repeat that again. It's being into yourself so you can be into other people. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, so it's like being able to spend the time with yourself so that you can give someone else 100% of you as well. Something that I learned from Dr. Guadagnoli, he said that,
Dr. G?
He says that
he's a sweetheart, man.
of your 50%, can you maintain 100% of that? So if you're with someone else, there's two halves. Can you maintain 100% of your 50%? And awesome. So he told me that about 5 months ago, and that I needed to hear at such a high level that's when all these things in my brain started to make sense. He was my professor 10 years ago, my mentor. Wow. So when he came here and I got a chance to connect with him, it was like, wow, he's the consumer of something that I built. I was like, nothing happens by accident. Like, he's obviously awesome. Here for a person to tell me that. But I literally needed him to tell me that for me to understand that I was not bringing my 50% at 100% into myself, not into my marriage, not into my business partnership, not into my relationships, and definitely not with my own faith. Whether you believe in God or not, I just believe in, now I'm understanding you need to believe in your own faith. And I wasn't doing any of that. I was spread so thin. I was trickling little bits of shit into all these places, thinking that people are going to stay, thinking that people wouldn't leave, thinking that, things were going to end up the way they should. And in reality, that came slamming back in my face. But I needed that. I needed to feel that in order to wake me up a little bit.
I like that, man. I like that. Yeah, Dr. G's a special guy, man. We've had some great conversations in the sauna. Very, very genuine. Dude, yeah, like I've said, the quality of people here, Sean, I obsess with that, man. You don't know how many people I say, the level of people, the quality of people, the men of value that you meet at this place at Project Wellbeing, man. Talking to Dr. G himself, man, it's a great resource, man. Great guy. Gave me a cell number. We chat here and there, and he's a great guy.
Yeah. And
important questions, man. He's a good resource for sure.
And I know, if you don't mind speaking on this, I know you had a really interesting experience when you were sitting in the sauna with him. And I'm sorry that your mom had passed away, man. But that was a really powerful story to me. And I think that, people can really.
It was, man. Sean, it was, I say we're talking about God. It's a perfect time to bring this up. I say it's either calculated, if you don't believe in God, it's just calculated coincidence to the second, or divine intervention, man, or divinity, whatever you want to call it. But my mother passed on a Sunday morning. She was at this facility that you can't go there till 10 o'clock in the morning. So my routine every single morning was to go see her before I came to the gym, man. When she was at different facilities, when on her third day I'm at Project Wellbeing that morning, so the night before, we put it all into context, I had my mom had really declined in the last 6 months, and it just got worse and worse and worse. But my last Saturday night with her, the last 30 minutes I spent with her were full of love, We prayed, we kissed each other, we prayed, kissed each other, sang. She said she was hungry. She said she wanted me to get her mariachi. Like, it was just, bro, we must have kissed 50 times. The most affection that I got from her in 30 minutes that I had gotten her in the last 4 or 5 months.
Wow.
Without a doubt, bro. Like, it was concentrated affection, man. It was intense. So I'm like really believing she's getting better. They were nose feeding her, by the way, at this time. Like, she was getting her nutrients into her nose because she had given up on eating. So I was already entertaining hospice, but I just didn't have it in me, man. So I said, let me just leave this in God's hands. So that was Saturday night. So Sunday morning, I wake up and I'm like, there was just something in me, man. Something in me is like, go see her. Go see her, just lie to them at the door, say you're gonna leave to LA, make up something, and then come back later and say your plans got canceled. I was like lying. So this is something my mom taught me as well, so we'll get to that. But so I'm in the sauna. Now my project Wellbeing, I actually didn't feel like working out that morning, man. Like, I was already burned out from working out that week. I said, I'm just gonna go straight into the sauna. Started like maybe 10 minutes of cardio and then got in the sauna. And I'm in the sauna now, and I know it's approaching 10, so I walk out of the sauna. Like, I'm just deeply thinking of my mom in the sauna. I walk out of the sauna, and I look at my phone. My sister had messaged me like at 9:29. Hey, how's mom today? And I just reply back. Now it's 9:38. I'm responding back to a message from 9:29. It's 9:38. Message at 9:38 exactly. I can't go to that place at 10 o'clock. 9:29. I'm responding to 9:38. I can't go to that place till 9:38. At 9:38, I'm also on the phone with her caretaker, who's my personal assistant to this day. Like, cleans my house, does everything for me, runs all my errands, does everything I have no time for. And she is on the phone with me at 9:38 while I'm texting my sister. Her name is Paula. I'm texting. We're on the phone. I'm like on speaker. I'm sweaty coming out of the sauna, getting ready to do a cold plunge. Hey, she's like telling me, hey, they called me from the facility. Your mom, her heart rate went up, but they got it down, so everything is good. But I'm like, is everything good? She's like, everything is good. So now I'm driving out the parking lot, and I get the call from my sister saying that mom passed.
Wow.
So my mom, I'm like literally on my way to see her, Sean. So like, I'm like, dude, why the F didn't I follow my gut instinct to go see her? I could have been there with her, or at least seen her again before she passed. And I get on the phone with the facility. They had my number written down wrong because she had just barely been there, and me and my daughter had got back from a business trip in Cabo. So like, I'm like, hey, what's going on with my mom? They're like, she passed at 9:38. So I have the text message that shows that I sent my sister at 9:38. I can't go to that place till 10 o'clock. I have the call, a 1-minute call with Paula at 9:38, and I have the picture of her death certificate that says that she passed at 9:38, man. So,
Wow.
So I don't have any tattoos, but I've been thinking about getting a 9:38 on my collar, man. But
Oh, that would be
9:38
amazing,
moment,
yeah.
brother, it was. So that whole Sunday, dude, I just kicked myself in the butt, bro. It was a rough Sunday, man. I'm like, why the F didn't I go? Why didn't I go? I didn't get closure till Monday night when I'm like in bed obsessing with like now I'm like just thinking of it as deep as I could. Why didn't I go? I was really mad at myself, man, for not following my gut instinct. I'm a guy who runs a mortgage company out of an art gallery. My house is an art installation of a tequila making process. I do things on my terms. I do whatever I want, man. I'm a child of my heart, if you want to call me that. But that day I went against my will and said, so I got the closure and I put it all into perspective. I did what my mom would have wanted me to do, obey the rules, because I think every parent, for the most part, wants you to obey the rules. The rules were you can't be at this place till 10 o'clock. I realized that Monday night that at 9:38, I was on the phone with Paula, and she told me everything was okay. At 9:30, I texted my sister, I can't go. So I found that peace. I think it's the first time in my life, Sean, where I realized, hey, you know what? I wasn't perfect, but I was a great son. And I wasn't I think we could always be better. And that's a chip that I live with on my shoulders. Like, yeah, I'm 46. I'm in decent shape right now. You saw me a couple years ago. I was super good, like super ripped, and I'll be back there again. But even when I was super ripped at 10% body fat, I still wasn't happy with myself. When I went to UCLA, and I almost made honor roll, I did really well. I was pissed off at myself because I got 1 C in linguistics that completely threw off my GPA to not make but I've done exceptional, man. I look at myself, like, I think it's fair enough to say we all kind of compare ourselves to different people.
Yes.
You know, one way or another, but then we're conscious enough to realize, hey, there's not a competition. It's just because, you know, I look at my buddy Edwin, who's my wealthiest self-made millionaire, has an impressive story, knowing where he comes from and where he's at now. And I don't compare myself to him. I'm like, man, what did he do different? It doesn't matter what he did different. It's like we all have our individual success. And that's what my mom taught me, is that I could have been a perfect son. I could have traveled less. I could have done less business in Mexico. But I still did what other people won't do for their parents. I took care of both of them.
Absolutely.
And she gave me that peace on Monday night when I realized, hey, man, I did what I could. It's completely documented here.
Yeah.
I can't be at that
and
place at
I
10
seen you
o'clock.
taking care of her, man, which
Thank
is that's not easy to do.
Yeah,
you know?
she became my child, brother. I fell in love with my mother, man. I can't say that I had a healthy relationship with my mother. What I had was a mother who loved me as good as she can love. As my mother didn't have a high school education. She started having children at 16 and stopped at me at 39. So I was being raised by a teenager, technically, who just worked her ass off, and all she knew was work, 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 and that's how I love my family.
Yes.
And I had an education. I got to study basic psychology. I got to study sociology, Mexican American history, understanding the transition that they went through. And I was able to, you know, I studied humanities, man. And what is that? I learned as much as I could about myself in a social, historical context. And I fell in love with my mother, bro. Like, found love with her. Like, she became my child, dude. It's like, to this day, man, I have her on my phone, brother. Her smile on my phone, bro, is like, it reminds me of her love and the love she was capable of giving me. And it was pure and it was perfect. So my mother became a perfect woman, man, in my life. And I fell in love with her, bro.
And I think that, you know, a lot of times we don't know how childhood trauma affects us. Correct. Like, I know it still affects me, something I'm working through, man. But I used to blame my mom for a lot of things. Like, she wouldn't let me do anything. I was like, why? I'm a good kid. And I realized that what are our parents going through that we can't even see? And I can see you, and in my instance, well, is the chain breaker. Like, we've broke through the chains. So what now are we going to do for the next generation that's coming? Correct. Because we're able to give so many more resources to people that we know and we love. You 100%. Know, and that's not something that my mom could have done. And looking back at it, it's not something that my grandparents could have done either.
Yeah, with my mother, brother, it's like I had that breaking point with her, and I realized, man, it's her time to be a child. It's her time. So my mother, when I say she became my child, she literally became my child. I would buy her dolls. She had dementia. You know, Rob, your business partner, a good friend, he got to spend time with her, and he had a great time with her. We painted with her. I literally got to the point where she just became my child, bro. Like, and I gave her childhood. I felt like that was a design in her life, man. She took care of so many children, her grandkids, her brothers and sisters, her siblings, when they would move to the United States, when they would immigrate here, she was taking care of them and bringing them into our house. And those last 6 years, bro, she was my baby, dude, taking her out on Sundays. COVID, dude, was probably a blessing in my life with her, man, because it forced me to be around her more. So I would play music. I would just throw on Spotify, Jose Alfredo Jimenez. I had no idea, bro, that my mom knew 38 out of 40 songs. We would just sing all day, man. Like, and it was just I would just sit around during COVID and drink tequila with my mom, man. And it brought me so much closer to her, and it made me realize, man, I didn't know this woman could sing, and I didn't know this woman knew all these songs. And it's crazy how the human mind works. I mean, this is about human mental health, man. But dude, how do you explain that with dementia, man? You can't remember that I fed you 5 minutes ago, but you can you can memorize a song that you haven't heard in 40 years or 30 years
and know the whole song, right?
Oh, dude, it was mind-boggling.
Yeah, you know, and as you're telling me about this, I realize that I'm trying to reconnect with my mom. Our relationship hasn't been.
Do it, man. You got it. You're the educated one, man. You're Project Wellbeing, bro.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying. I think facing your childhood trauma is incredibly difficult, but I don't want to look back and be like, damn, I should have spent more time with my mom. She's 60 years old.
Oh, you're young. She's very healthy.
Yeah, and she lives here, man.
Bro.
You know,
make it part of your routine, brother. I'm telling you, it's like whatever. She loves you, and she loves you the way she knows how to love you, man. And she loves you with all the trauma she has, and but she's been there for you, bro. If she was limiting you from doing stuff, it was to protect you, man. You know, I don't know the details. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, and I realize that.
But
yeah, I think that the whole thing we're talking about today. This might be the most important thing that people are hearing is you can't blame your parents for your life.
Absolutely
You're
not.
still in control of your life, and they probably didn't know any better.
We're men with education, man. And I think once you're, like I say, when I say I studied humanities, I literally became a better human because of my education.
Yes.
Man. I became a thinker. I became a thinker. I became just conscious, man. The word consciousness of being able to think what we think about, as simple and cliche as that sounds. That's the difference between people who think and react to their feelings versus people who could sit there and debunk why the F am I feeling pissed off at this situation? And yes, is my Christianity really gonna let me judge this gay dude or whatever? Like, stuff like that. And
yes.
It's just when we get to that point in our life where we can think what we think about and grow on that, and just the little details you gave me earlier that I brought up, man. Like, I'm like, dude, that's the highest form of emotional intelligence, man. I honor it, I admire it, and I just think it's so beautiful, man. That you're at that point, bro.
And I think that I had to learn this and I'm still trying to get better at this, is when you let someone control your emotions, you're literally letting them control your whole life. And this is something that I'm really trying to work on, is just being able to stay calm in no matter what situation I'm faced with, because I'm learning in life that things are going up, they're definitely going to come down, and they're going up again, but I don't want to let someone else control me.
You have a high standard to set, my man. You got Project Wellbeing, bro. This is the mecca of health. And I always say, when I'm in here, bro, you've seen me post it on my Instagram, it's mind, body, and soul, man. Because, I go, the mind part, man, I don't want to come in some days, but I get over that. Get a great workout. The body, man, it benefits from it. Then I go in my sauna, and that's my moment for my soul, man. Leave the phone outside, and I always just say mind, body, and soul in this place.
Yeah, I've come to love saunas. I don't
love
have
them, bro. I can't live without them, man.
It's like if I have a Ferrari, I'm having a sauna that's just as expensive as a Ferrari, because it's that important to me. It's helped me with depression and anxiety.
Wow, bro, and the release, man. The physical release, brother. That warmness, man.
That's why I went crazy and spent the money on this sauna that I designed, man. Because I realized how important it was in my life, and it's something that I wanted to share, to you and the members. And that's the great thing about Project Wellbeing is, a year ago, it's completely different than it was, and
bro, every day, man, you guys there's a new element, new. I mean, it's that Michelin restaurant? It's a Michelin 5-star of
I appreciate
gyms,
that.
Man.
I think in the next few years we're going to be able to open up our new Las Vegas location, which I hope to be the hub.
Do you see franchise opportunities like for Mexico, man? Or
I think that's definitely something that we're looking at. We have a full advisory board now. So this is something that I think is going to take the company to the next level.
We need to take that trip to Oaxaca, man, because that's like the new Tulum, the new destination for Mexico. Just everything that's happening there, bro. For example, the biggest thing relevant to there's going to be direct flights from Houston to Puerto Escondido.
Okay.
As of April, that is huge, bro. Because right now you got to fly to Guadalajara, or you got to fly out of TJ, or you got to fly. So Houston to. So I'm already thinking about buying a condo in Houston just for that reason, and starting to develop a business mortgage out there.
Okay.
So Houston, that the second big thing is, prior to February of 24, it would take you 6 to 8 hours to get from Oaxaca City to the coast to Puerto Escondido. Now it takes 2 hours to get there because they built a super highway.
Wow. Okay.
The inter-Atlantic canal that they're building, that's going to compete with the Panama Canal in the next, I think it's 10 or 15 years, that's going to be huge, man. Just all the opportunity for offshoring there, man. It's the writings all over the world. I was talking to my buddy Vince Loyola, who's been planted in Oaxaca. They've owned real estate there, him and his family, for years.
Okay.
He has beautiful property. So Vince was talking about how, bro, that Mexico will have one of the greatest transfers of wealth in the next 20 to 30 years, man. It'll be towards the end of my life. My kid will be able to benefit from this, but Mexico is going to have one of the biggest transfers of wealth that the world has ever seen, man. With all, the baby boomers and all the this generation of people retiring out there. I'm not sure that's the baby. Who are the ones that come after the baby boomers?
Just a Gen X. I feel like I should know these things.
Yeah, it's one of those, man.
I know for sure that the generation below me need some serious help.
Oh man, let's not talk about it.
They need
bro.
some serious help.
Let's not talk about. I'm dealing with my kid, man. She's right below you, man. Now she's in a good place now. She's thinking like an entrepreneur. She's thinking ahead, but Mexico, man. I mean, we got to like put that on the books, man.
One of my bucket list items is to create, and you just texted me this morning about it. Is I've been wanting to create, places to do wellness retreats, because it's one thing to go and, work on yourself, but imagine being able to go somewhere.
Just be right next to
Fuck,
ocean
I
water,
think
man.
I would need to go somewhere for a month to work on my mental health and to change my
that
life.
Would be the place where they can
I
bring
need
you-
it for a month, man,
they can-
because
where
it
they-
can't be a day.
where they bring you fish from the sea every morning, eggs from chickens, man, and just as organic as you can get, man. But Oaxaca it's in my heart, man. It's the writings all over the world, all over the walls, man. Just like when I was 12 years old and I saw the common sense of real estate. Now I'm a 46-year-old man that sees the common sense in Mexico, man. That's a place to put your money at.
Yeah. So in your career, in your entrepreneur career now, what is next for you? Is this something that you're the most passionate about? Is kind of developing these places in the world?
So my retirement right now, my retirement focus is Mexico. I see myself in Mexico in the next 10 years full time, leaving the States completely. So I have real estate there already, and everything I invest, other than than helping my daughter leverage with her credit and buying her or building her real estate portfolio in the States, everything I personally invest, I've already sold real estate and bought real estate in Mexico. So just buying as much dirt as I can over there, man. As much dirt. All I care about is getting or buying dirt. Like the lot I bought in Cabo compared to what I get in Oaxaca is night and day, man. So
Yes.
So buying dirt, and I'm not going to build in Cabo in the next, at least for 10 years, but I do want to have a base there because I do like Cabo. It's extended California. Mexico, specifically Oaxaca, man, the price you're getting for beach view, ocean view dirt is super cheap.
Amazing. Okay.
So you can't, it's like, but with everything that's happening there, man, the road, the flights from the U.S. directly to Puerto Escondido, man, all that's going to change the value of the land, the accessibility there. It's what Tulum was 15 years ago, bro.
Okay.
So it's just not as
And
gentrified,
I've seen how that's blown up, and I can see it in the last 2 years, or if it's been longer, your focus on this development. I can see it. I can see your vision. It's interesting when you can see something that someone else can't, but you just chase after it with unrelentless passion.
Our team is, a young engineer from, he's Kentucky. His name's Oscar. He's from Kentucky, but he's Colombian. We have another Canadians, Kyle and Lee, and then Vince is the daddy of the project, man, because his roots are deep in there. I mean, one of his projects, man, you can just walk straight into the water, man.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and he's building 3 more villas on it, man. So
yes.
So we want to take you out there, host you, have plenty of
Yeah,
nice
I would
places
love
you
to
can
go. And I
stay.
think that obviously when you said that, I mentioned that I went to Africa. I think in life, if you get to experience how other people live in different parts of the world, it really puts into perspective things that you have, things that you don't have, but your experience is other people's culture, which is just rare. I'm blessed. Some people never get a chance to live where they grew up, man, because they just never have the opportunity. So I want to get into traveling, a lot more, because I think that there's so much of the world that's out there.
And you can leave your stamp all over the world, man. Project Wellbeing, man. Like I said, it's something special, man. It's something special.
And that's developing systems and stuff here that allow me to not have to be present inside of my business now. I'm working on my business. I can work from anywhere that I want to, because I think a lot of the times as an entrepreneur, like I know for me, I was afraid to let go a little bit, and place these things into someone else's hands
Did you learn that your 100% doesn't, like somebody's 100% could be your 70%? Like
my level of attentiveness, it's not going to be achievable by someone else. It's just because it's not theirs. It's not their dream.
Man. It's an experience. I mean, from the way we get greeted here to just the way people come up to you. I mean, your staff, man. You've done, like I say, man, Michelin restaurant, Michelin of gyms, man.
Thank you, man. Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
I mean, not even being biased. What gym have you been to that gives your gym competition?
Interesting you say that. So I traveled this year to like 8 or 9 of the top facilities. I went to Florida. I went to Cabo. I went to last place I want to go is New York. But as I was going to these different places, I realized that the rarest thing that we did here was actually implement the things that matter the most. Like, you know, I may not have the nicest bathrooms here, and I may not have the nicest facility, but it's the program and the process and the people that I take pride in that took the longest to achieve. Like, we don't have any independent contractors here. Every single person's an employee, you know, which means that we get a chance to mold the individual and provide an exceptional client experience. So I don't think it's something that a lot of people can see, but I think they can feel it when they come inside of here.
And awesome, Sean. But like I said, man, I want to see a project in Mexico, man.
I don't. Yeah, I want to go. And honestly, like I don't need a vacation. I would love to have an experience. I haven't had an experience in a minute, and I think I'm due for one. The last thing I want to touch on, because I think that, especially with me going through a divorce, you losing your mom, what does that do to your mental health, and what form of self-care have you utilized to try to combat that? Because I can imagine and not imagine that, and let me rephrase that, as I can assume it's probably going to be one of the most difficult things you're going to go through in your life, but I also think it could be the most transformative.
You know, what's losing my parents, bro, it was equally difficult. Losing my father and losing my mother. I did an ayahuasca ceremony, dude, like 7 years ago, about 8 years ago. And in that ceremony, I witnessed my parents die. And I would honestly tell you, man, that was very transformational for me, because witnessing their death while they were still alive, like I heard the voice in my head. People call it the medicine, they call it the mother, you know, whatever you want to call it. But I heard something say, "Don't cry now. What you're experiencing right now is inevitable. Treat them like your children. Treat them like your children." So I took charge of my parents after that, man. And my dad had no option, but we had to travel. We had to go. We spent so many trips going to national parks. Everything that was accessible to him, me and him did. We would bring my mom when she would want to come, and but when I really lost them, which was your question, you know. So while I had them, I was prepared for it, man. I already experienced that emotion, but when I really lost my mom, I did what Mexicans do, man, and I love tequila, man. So I started drinking a little bit more than I would like to, and you know, I'm cutting back. But I did bring alcohol back into my life. I told you a little bit about it. That's what I'm accustomed to do. That's the way I witness my uncle's grief, my brother's grief. When we lose somebody, we drink and we listen to music, and I would listen to the songs that my mother would listen to, and I was able to deal with it in that sense, man. That was my way of mourning, mourning. So, but I went into a dark place with alcohol in the last, she's been gone for 5 months now. So the last 5 months I went to a dark place with it, but this is my first week where I didn't have a drink up until last night, so I went a whole week.
That's incredible.
So literally, like I just said, it got to the point where I was like, you know, I'm also in the tequila business, but that's a passion business, and I've been exposed to social events, but I mean, there was a point where I can go to these social events and have 1 or 2 drinks, but it became, I got to the point where I'm having to Uber myself and inconveniencing myself, or Ubering my daughter to pick me up, and it just got to that point where my daughter became concerned. I said, trust me, man, I'm a health freak. I love my health. I care about myself. This is temporary, and I think not drinking this week was honestly just what I needed, and I realized I don't need this shit in my life, man. I don't need to drink excessively. Last night I cut myself off, had 3 drinks, and I cut myself off. Was able to drive myself home. Shouldn't be drinking and driving at all, but I was comfortable to drive, and I got to the point where I was uncomfortable to drive. I'm very responsible with that, at least, but at the end of the day, Sean, it was alcohol that kind of helped me deal with it, because that's what I've been molded to. That's how I've been molded to deal with this stuff. It's the first time I officially lost both my parents. You know, I still had a piece of my dad with my mother, and now that part of my father, I didn't drink as much. I did drink for maybe a week. With my mother, it lasted a few months. And rebirth, everybody. I mean, I always start my resolution after Christmas. It's just been my thing. I'm not having no drinks for New Year's. Last year for New Year's, I did a 24-hour fast. I'm going to do it again this year. I'm going to do it again. I want to start 100% beginning of the year. I'm going to enjoy the last few Christmas parties, not get drunk. And I'll get drunk and then have a few drinks, take it easy. But I would say alcohol is the way I dealt with it, man. That's how I've been accustomed to dealing with that. That's been my norm. My grandparents died. I'm watching my uncles get plastered, you know, for days. And I was socialized to be that way, man.
Yeah.
So
you know, I think hearing you talk about that, it's like, I think for the New Year's, why don't we take a deep dive into your health, man? We'll do like a full health discovery.
Yeah,
Let's do all the blood work, the stool, the urine test, because when you have those tests in front of you, that they're on the paper.
Cool. When do you think, let's book it. When do you think we should do it?
Yeah, we can on usually Tuesdays and Thursdays we have the physician. We'll take it.
Let's do like right after, because I'm gonna after Christmas I'm going sober, man. So like before New Year's, let's do it, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Please.
The great thing about that is sometimes it's easy to make decisions you shouldn't make. But I know for me, when I've got a lot of health things going on with me, and I found it all out through blood work and the DNA testing, and that definitely put into perspective the way that I need to take care of myself. Like honestly, I used to sleep 3 hours a night, man, and I promise you that I would have ended up having the heart attack if it wasn't for going through a divorce and stopping me in my tracks. I for sure would. And everyone
would. Sleep now?
It's getting better, and I'm prioritizing it. But I just thought it was funny, man. I was like, a lot of these people that I look up to, in the entrepreneur industry, I'm starting to realize that a lot of them are using fear, like they're preying on weak-minded men and making them think that they need to work 24/7 in order to achieve something. I'm actually changing a lot of what people that I was looking up to, because I don't think that that's healthy, because it got me, and it got me in a really bad way. So I'm really looking forward to this next year, and I think. This entire podcast.
Yeah, let's schedule that, man. I actually do want that blood work, and I need to get everything.
We'll do that as soon as we're done with this, because I think that it will really help you, and especially with going through some deaths in your family. I think there's no better time to motivate you to take care of yourself, so you can take care of everyone else around you in an incredible fashion. So I would love to do that.
Okay.
Ray, thank you so much for joining me today,
Sean,
and sharing your insights. Your perspective on mental health and high performance is invaluable. And I know a lot of people resonate with what you said today. And, you've been a great friend of mine and supporter for a long time, so I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Can you remind people where they can find you for your business again?
I'm on Charleston at the Wholesome Bread Factory, 231 West Charleston. I said the Bread Factory right behind Brooklyn is best pizza on Charleston under 15. Been there, actually, I re-signed my lease. It been 10 years. Man.
Incredible. Yeah, stay there, man. I think that's the most authentic.
Yeah, thank you, man.
All right, thank you so much again, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you.